Only losers collect video game achievements / trophies. The year was 2008. I was a young man and my nether region still had not been touched by woman. The game was the original Assassin's Creed on the 360, my first Xbox 360 game. Things went quiet, and all of a sudden... What was that? Was it some sort of mistake? Why do I feel this way? Why was there movement in my pants? You all know what it was. It was my very first achievement. Something about the sound the achievement made and the feeling of accomplishment. It made me feel alive! It is now 2023 and I have moved on to trophies instead of achievements, but that feeling remains the same. And yes, if you are wondering, my nether regions have now been touched by a woman. Achievements. They've been around in some way or another pretty much since the dawn of gaming, but I am talking about those achievements and trophies that make a fancy noise when they unlock. I actually don't really understand Steam achievements. I'm sure some of you watching are Steam achievement collectors, but man, it is so unsatisfying when that little small laggy box in the bottom right of the screen pops. They need to fix that. Why am I making this video? Well, I just got my 100th Platinum trophy on PlayStation and I started to wonder, why do I even bother doing this? Why have I wasted countless hours of grinding trophies that literally impress no one? I still tell my wife whenever I 100% a game, hey babe, I just 100%ed RoboCop Rogue City. Her confused non-gamer face wondering if I can somehow use those trophies to buy stuff. We can't. Trophies are a digital-only award that the general population and probably most gamers do not care about at all. Thankfully, I personally am not even that bad. I have games with a completion rate of 1%, and yes, they do haunt my dreams from time to time, but overall, I can stop playing a game if I don't enjoy it enough to continue, or when, you know, you go through those moments where you get so much depression that you can't even be bothered playing video games. Anyway, I digress. Other than that deep, satisfying feeling you get when that final trophy pops, followed by that platinum, there are plenty of reasons why achievement / trophy hunting is a great thing to start even in 2023. Let's take Spider-Man 2, for example, a game I loved, by the way. You can watch the full review, it's on my channel, and then while you're there, make sure you hit subscribe. But yes, Spider-Man 2, a fantastic game, but heavily criticized by many for being too short. A 17-hour story mode, which for me is fine, but add trophy hunting to the equation and it becomes 10 hours longer. I was immensely satisfied with my time in Spider-Man 2. Not too short, not too long, just right. I felt like Goldilocks, the perfect length of game, and I owe it all to trophy hunting. Thanks, PlayStation. One of the best examples I use, and one of my earlier experiences with achievement hunting, was the dastardly achievement in Red Dead Redemption 1. This saw you placing a hog-tied woman on the train tracks and force you to stand there and watch her death. Sure, it's a brutal achievement, and sort of now that I think about it, it's pretty messed up that they made us do that. And also, why did it have to be female? Maybe it's a reference to something, anyway, I don't know. But it did make me play the game in a new way that I had not before. I had hog-tied people, but I'd never taken them to the train tracks and watched them squish. Honestly, I probably could have found a less disturbing example of why achievement hunting is so great, but I will always remember that moment as one of like, these developers, they put these in to make us experience the game in new ways. Before, we seldom had reasons to play games on their hardest difficulties, but now we have reason to, and while those can be frustrating achievements to get, I'm talking about you, World at War. It still adds to the overall value of every game to play. The community of completionists are also great. They won't just find a new way to unlock a trophy and keep it to themselves like some sort of secret. They will actively share that information online. But it is an addiction, and it does have some pretty huge flaws. When Gears of War 2 released, it had an achievement to kill 100,000 enemies called Seriously 2.0. This fucking achievement took me 3 years to get. Weeks, months, and years of countless grinding. I got my first Gears of War 2 achievement on the 20th of September 2009, and I didn't finish that damn game until the 26th of June 2012. Almost 3 goddamn years later. To this day, over 5 million copies have sold, yet only 1.65% of players have that achievement. That's just over 80,000 people. Now, if I could tell some of these 4.9 million Gears of War 2 players about this achievement, do you think any of them would care? Probably not. But I don't care because me and my friends, who I no longer speak to, we have it. And it was a bonding experience. It was such a strong bonding experience that, like I said, we don't talk to each other anymore. Now, once again, I am lucky. I have broken that awful curse that forces me to 100% every game that I play. But for those few that are forced to get every achievement or trophy, it can limit the amount of games that they play. Did you know that there are achievements and trophies that are impossible to get? Sadly, as new online games come out, older ones die off and the servers get shut down. Well, there are countless online games that have been shut down, making it impossible to get certain online exclusive trophies. Let's use NBA Live 2007 for example. I started to play that just for fun because I used to like basketball games. Now, one of the online achievements was to finish an online ranked match. Impossible to get now. That's fair enough, the servers can't be up forever. But let's pretend for a second that the servers were still up. There was an achievement to be online when there are 1,000 other players online at the same time. This was my last achievement to get in this game, especially in 2010, because people were playing the newer versions. But once again, the 100% completionist community is great, and right before the servers were shut down, thousands of players made an online event for us all to jump on and get that last remaining achievement. I remember the time was like 3 AM in Australia, and as soon as I got the achievement, I turned off the console, as I'm sure most people did. Sadly, hundreds that were a minute or two late missed out because people didn't stick around to wait to make sure everyone got it. But I guess my point is that it is impossible to get now, and that's something that happens to this day, especially with less popular games that are shit at launch and that no one plays weeks after release. Now, trophies that get you to explore the map or complete certain side missions are always a great welcome, but there is a huge continuing trend of having to collect hundreds of collectibles in games. One of the most famous examples, and not even a bad example, is the feathers in Assassin's Creed 2, which I've 100%ed twice. You think developers would learn over time that these types of collectibles are not enjoyable for most people, especially when you need a guide to show you where they are. But game after game, we see this constant trend. Pick up all these collectibles, hundreds and thousands of them these days. Also, this might just be me, but trophies that force me to play the game multiple times, like the original Last of Us, will always piss me off. I just spent a whole week playing through this story. I don't want to do it again. Anyway, as I write the script for this video, I'm starting to actually forget why I'm even making this. I guess my point was to try to convince you to go for the 100% in video games, but it seems like I have way more negative reasons than positives. Truth be told, I will always probably try to aim for 100% in video games and be happy if I achieve a 65% across all games, and I really do recommend you try to 100% one singular game if you never have, especially if it's a game you love. There are negatives to the hobby, but everyone I know that does collect them really does love doing it, and while it won't be something that will go on your tombstone, it is something that you can be glad that you achieved on a personal level. And for me, that makes it all worth it. I know how much effort I put into a certain game, and I 100%ed it even when 4.9 million others didn't. Because I am a trophy hunter, I have completed the original Walking Dead Telltale game on both Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4 when I transitioned, which made me realize that Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1 is one of the most overrated video games of all time. So make sure you subscribe to my channel to see that future video on that game, which means I'm gonna have to play it again. Thank you for watching.